Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 3. And today I'm going to be giving you part 18 of What If Naruto was created from the God Tree, guys. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode over on Anime King of What If God Like Naruto was awakened by Kushina, and enjoy that guys. And also remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And also stay tuned for a brand new episode coming over in the Making 2. Yes, I do have 3 channels, and the Making 2 and the Making 3, which I post what you find every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last part that we left off. The people of Konoha was in an uproar. Orochimaru invasion never planned on, truly, destroying the village just yet. What he came for was the children. Several people were missing. Hayashi was upset, so was Hitomi because Hinata was also gone, and several other kids. As the report came in, not to mention one of the major kids being Mito as well. Kushina was livid. She was angry, but there was nothing that she could do at the moment. There was nothing that they could do to find him. Nothing they could do to find that snake bastard. He was just gone. As Harrison was upset, seeing that Konohamaru was in that faction as well, and he didn't know what to do because Orochimaru's trail was gone. The topic then came out about Naruto, as they didn't really know what to do with him. Not to mention Konoha was not in the most generous state right now, so their manpower needed to be focused. As people start to suggest, some of them saying that they should, well, not just subjugate him to prison, after all. He was one of the strongest jonins to ever come across Konoha. With his title he was the strongest, and that power must have grown over the years. While that was going on, Kaguya Otsutsuki had returned, but not as she expected. Maybe it was because of Naruto bringing back Kushina, but her power did not come back as she wanted to. She was a lot weaker than she expected, most of her power being forced to break the seal because he did not do it fully. Most of his power was sent to bring Kushina back from dead. And right now he was unconscious. Kaguya was angry about that she was not at her full power. She had contacted Zetsu. She needed for him to use the Akatsuki's group and hunt down the remaining tail beasts. She couldn't even sense them where she was. That was how weak she was. But compared to a normal person, well, a normal shinobi, she was far above them. Seeing that she was walking around the elemental nation and sucking people dry, she literally sucked their chakra and their life force, re-energizing herself, but it was still not enough. If she went like this, she would end up sucking the entire planet, as she could literally feel Naruto. And she smiled, knowing that she was so close to him ever than before. While that was going on, Naruto finally awoke in the hospital. As he looked around, Jiraiya was there. He could not move because there was seals all over his body. Kushina came in the room as she spoke to him. He tried to play the tough card, but she slapped him as she begged him to stop this. As Mito was gone, she cried. Seeing her cry, something inside him snapped as Naruto ripped off the seals, shocking Jiraiya that he was able to overpower them. The seals literally couldn't contain such power. But by the time he was done, Kushina had to hold him up. It was then that she came in. Sahara. It turns out that Naruto was the one that created her. A long time ago, but he prevented her from telling any of them. As he left her behind to watch it over, Mito, and Kushina to make sure that they were safe. But in terms to find Mito, he had to absorb her back in his body and regain some of his strength. He was nowhere near to what he formerly was. He was still weak. But Sahara was willing to make the sacrifice because she could never come back as she once was. But she loved Mito and wanted her to be okay, so Naruto absorbed her. His eyes flashed as he regained some of his power. Exiting the hospital, he came across Uncle, who was shocked to see him. She was speechless. But he didn't have time, as he went off, apologizing as he did. As Kushina and the others watched him as he flew away, as Naruto was sailing through the sky, he had to drop somewhere in the Fire Nation as he heard voices speaking directly into his skull. It was so painful, as he didn't know what exactly that was, but he had no time to ponder on that. And he could also feel Kaguya as well. She was growing stronger by the second, and she could also feel him. As Naruto made his way, he was getting more and more angry. This woman was trying to control his very being, like he was some kind of tool. When he finally arrived, Kabuto was annihilated as Naruto literally burned the other half of the base. Orochimaru, lucky enough, had the Edo Tenseis as he summoned them, unaware of this new development. But Naruto was so angry, as he let his anger seep out on Orochimaru. Orochimaru turned the first and the second Hokage towards Naruto to take him down. But Naruto's anger was so livid. Kaguya was feeling nothing but happiness, as she could feel his power circulating. She could feel his power rising. Kaguya had felt something though, something that was in the back of her mind that troubled her a bit. When he was freeing her, she felt something that she never felt in his power. It was abnormal and strange. Maybe she was mistaken. But still, that doesn't change anything. Naruto was hers, and no one would change that. No one at all. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys again, switch across, so please check over yourself, and remember to go ahead and stay tuned for those what if come your way, and also go ahead and check out what if God like Naruto was, awaken my Kushina over Anime King, and enjoy that guys. But for now, let's get right into this new episode guys. We begin this episode with Yujito of Kumo, who was currently on a mission, as she was making her way. It was a solo mission that was already completed by her. She was returning home. That is when she noticed a woman in a white coat in front of her. As the woman was just standing there calmly, seeming like she was waiting on her. Yujito spread her senses out, as she was confused what was going on, because of the link that her and Nibi share. The Nibi felt it immediately. "Kitten, run!" "What?" said Yujito as she came to a stop. "I said run, just get out of here!" "What are just me and run now!" Hearing the urgency in the Nibi's voice, she wasted no time as she turned. But to her surprise, the woman was now standing right behind her, now facing her front to front. As she was confused, she was just in front of her a second ago. How was that? As the woman simply smiled. "Hello," she said. "Nice to meet you. Let me introduce myself before I end your demise. I am Kaguya Osusuke," she said, as she had a smile on her face. Yujito extended her nails as she went to slash at the woman, feeling intent. As Kaguya merely smiled. "Adorable," she said, as she dressed back, dodging the attack. Yujito then turned as she moved off, as Manatabi told her to run immediately. Whatever this woman was, she was not normal. The sense that she got from her, it indeed spelled danger. As Yujito moved, with her cat-like agility, she moved, leaping and jumping, putting a far distance behind her. That is when she felt a brutal hit in her back, as she cried out in pain. The next thing she knew, her body was thrown. She smashed into a stone pillar as she coughed up blood. She slowly picked herself up. "Kitten, take my chakra. Use it to get out of here now." "Run? You don't want me to fight her," said Yujito as she got back up. "You can't fight that thing, whatever it is. Just run. I'll work on healing your back. Just run." Yujito got enveloped in a blue cloak. She then shot forward, moving as fast as possible. That is when it happened once again. This time, it was in the form of a white hand. She was smashed down into the ground. Kaguya stood in mid-air as her palm was extended. A celestial hand came from it. It seemed to be spectral, but at the same time it was in this reality as it smashed Yujito down. Kaguya landed in front of Yujito, who was calmly picking herself up as she narrowed her eyes towards the woman. I don't know who this is, but I can't escape her by running. She could hear the worried tone of Munatobi. As her nails extended even more, I'll just slice her throat right open. She moved. Kaguya ducked as she weaved out of the way. Absorbing all of those people, getting a knack of actual fighting styles, it became rather fun for her. As she moved out of the way, she didn't know why. Ever since she came back, she was finding the little things in life rather amusing. Maybe it was because of him, Naruto. He gave her a new outlook on life. And being back after being sealed away for so long, she felt wonderful. She delivered a brutal palm strike to Yujito's stomach, forcing her to step back. She then flashed behind her and backhanded her. Yujito was thrown as she smashed into a rock pillar. Appearing above the girl, she raised her hand and brought it down. There was a gust of wind that decimated the area. Yujito cried as her left arm had taken the full brunt. It had been gashed deeply, blood gushing down. She roared as her entire body exploded into the two-tailed beast. A kitten, said Kaguya. Well then, kitten, come and let me pet you, she said. Munatobi opened her mouth as hot, raging bull flames extended forward. Kaguya waved her hand as the attack was split into half. She then thrust forward and palm struck the beast right in the face. The force was enough to throw the kitten back and it smashed, creating a deep crater. Kaguya then raised her hand as a light blue glow started to emanate from it. Raising that blue glow, it turned into a small miniature ball before it expanded and expanded. She then threw it. The Nibi opened her mouth as she launched hot flames in a stream as two contacts. The moment they made contact in the center, it exploded. A colossal explosion went off. When the smoke cleared, the Nibi was barely on its feet, showing the Kaguya attack was a lot stronger. As Kaguya landed on top of the thing's head and started to pet it, the Nibi reached up and tried to swallow her, but she held her hand out as a spear, just materializing right in front of it. She thrust said spear right through the mouth of the Nibi, pinning it down to the ground by its jaw. She then placed her hand on its stomach as she started to scratch, slowly scratching away all of its chakra. The Nibi roared as it tried to get free, but it could not with the spear in its mouth. Kaguya then inhaled as she sucked every last ounce of the Biju chakra in her being. Once she was done, the only thing that remained was the body of Yujito. As Kaguya looked down and smiled, thank you for returning back my chakra, and also gave me a good opportunity to actually test myself for what is to come. The others have all been insanely pathetic, she said, as her smile was happy and wide. As she placed a hand on her cheeks becoming flushed, as she could sense Naruto. She could sense that he was angry. She could feel his power castrating off him as she licked her lips happily. Meanwhile, that was going on. Wood style, nativity of the sea of trees. Hundreds of vines and trees erupted. The place was swallowed. Orochimaru stood back. There was no way in hell that the child could survive. Orochimaru had heard of him, but he never really caught sight of him anywhere. Another mixing in of Konoha. The thing was, Orochimaru did not know how truly powerful Naruto was, thinking of him as just a normal missing nin that was a bit strong, but not in terms of actual raw brute strength or power that would eclipse his own. He was a Sannin, but this young man was proven to be far more powerful than he thought, forcing his Edo Tensei to go this far. Hoshirama watched as his face was blank. So was Tobirama. Tobirama then blinked. The next thing he knew, someone appeared in front of him. As Naruto's fist was caught back, throwing his fist forward, the entire chest plate of Tobirama exploded outwards. It was blown to dust. Hoshirama turned as a wooden spike formed in his hand as he drive it forward. Naruto blasted it away before he gripped the man's face and turned him, lifting him off the ground before bashing his skull into the ground. He then flipped and slammed his heel into Tobirama's face, kicking his head right off his shoulders. Naruto's eyes then focused on Orochimaru as he thrust forward. The snake Sannin eyes went wide. He went through handstand rather quickly as he slammed his hand down. "Rashomon," he said, creating 3 massive gates, using the opportunity to move away. But then he heard boom, bang, boom. The last gate exploded as Naruto came rocketing out of it. But it was enough time for Hoshirama to fix himself. Hoshirama slammed both hands on the ground, massive wooden dragons shooting forward, 2 of them golden eyes. Tobirama wasted no time as he flashed through hand sign, water style, he said. The exploding water dragon! He sucked the water, the moisture from the air, and shot it forward. The 3 massive beasts raged towards Naruto. Naruto raised his hand. "Enough!" he shouted. A colossal wave of pure gravity manipulation tear away the 3 techniques like they were nothing. "I told you enough with this. You're not gonna leave. You're not gonna survive. You will die for what you try. You think you're pawns. Your excuse of a pawns can hold me back." Orochimaru snarled. "Do you know who I am, boy?" he said. "I am Orochimaru, one of the legendary sons, and if you think that you can kill me, you are sadly mistaken. Making your bold thoughts that you were gonna come in here and kill me. Well, it can't be done. I am unkillable. I cannot be killed," he said, rage in his eyes at being underestimated by this little punk. The 2 Edo Tenseis then moved, their fists pulled back, charged with chakra to end Naruto's existence. Raising both hands, Naruto caught the fists of both of them. The ground cracked. Naruto yanked their arms down before he grabbed their skulls. Impressive, fast-moving arms. He then cracked their skulls together. He then slammed them into the ground. His Rinne Tensei gun then flared to life as he gripped their skulls. He then started to yank. Wait. What are you doing?" Orochimaru was confused. He was still not understanding how this child was easily able to effortlessly put them down like that. But still, he could feel his connection cutting. "What are you doing? Stop this!" As he opened his mouth, his Kusanagi coming out, he thrust it forward, moving to impale Naruto. Naruto's eyes blinked towards him, and Orochimaru found himself in a tree. He was thrown so fast and so far. His body was just reacting as he saw the wave of explosion from where he had been blown away. Orochimaru coughed up blood, his body aching in pain. "Such power," he said, as he felt his connection with the 2 Edo Tenseis cut. The child was somehow able to rip their soul directly from their heads. But those eyes, Orochimaru knew that he was not mistaken. Those eyes, they were indeed special. They almost looked like the Rinnegan, but instead they were red. And they had the Megatamas off, the Sharingan in them. What was he? Orochimaru thought to himself. Back with Naruto as he looked at his hands. His hands were shaking. His body had still not recovered. He had forcefully exerted his power that day to bring back Kushina. But that was not what drained him. Kaguya had fed off that power of his to use it to break out of her seal. And not to mention with him bringing back Kushina technique that was supposed to kill the wielder. But he did not die. His body was severely exhausted, but he was still going. If it wasn't for the sacrifice that Sahara did, he wasn't sure he would be back on his feet just yet, as he was extremely exhausted. But he had to fight, and he couldn't let that snake Sannin get away. He just couldn't. He turned his head as he raised his hand. A massive piece of the earth was raised up. He then launched it. Orochimaru was forced to jump out of the way, as the area that he once was completely crushed. Naruto appeared in front of him, feet raised. Orochimaru crossed his arms, but the hit blew his arms back with such force as he cried out in pain. This child was severely stronger than Tsunade by at least 10 folds, as he could feel the bones in his arms. Some of them had cracked. Naruto then brought his leg down. Not gonna chance it again, Orochimaru slipped out of the way. The ground exploded into 1,000 pieces. Naruto raised his hand as he controlled each of those broken pieces as he thrust them towards Orochimaru. The snake Sannin pulled his blade towards him and tried to slice, but some of them ripped holes into his body with the force that they were pushed with, causing him to bleed rather profusely as he coughed up blood. As Naruto's fist collided with his face the moment he made a misstep. Orochimaru staggered. Naruto gripped him by the throat and started to squeeze as he was choking the living life out of him. Before he held out his right hand, a black rod forming, but it was smaller than he expected. He didn't have enough power to use his full abilities, but he thrust the rod forward. Orochimaru opened his mouth wide and slipped right out of it, as Naruto stabbed right through the remaining corpse. Seeing his opportunity, Orochimaru thrust with his blade as he drove it directly through Naruto. Orochimaru smiled as Naruto staggered back. Orochimaru could tell that he was severely weakened from what he was not entirely sure, because it wasn't a fight between him and the reanimations, as Naruto panted and dropped to one knee as he felt poison coursing through his veins. But this would not put him. BAM! Orochimaru's fist connected with his face. BAM! Another. BAM! The snake Sannin working out some of his frustrations. He proceeded to beat the absolute crap into Naruto's face. As he was thrown back, Naruto crashed into the ground. Removing their souls took a lot more out of him than he expected, and he was already weak to begin with. He forcefully got back up to his feet. Orochimaru called his blade as it ripped out of Naruto, forcing him to drop down to the ground. Orochimaru then walked forward as he smiled happily and triumphantly. Do you see now? Just because you possess some strength doesn't mean that you're untouchable or unkillable. I said it before and I'll say it again. I am a Sannin. You're a mere nobody that no one's give a damn or care about. Just another run-of-the-mill missing name. You think you're powerful, daring to come here of all places to threaten me, to try and kill me. You foolish, pathetic boy. You had no idea what you walked in, and now you won't be leaving. I wonder what makes you tick. I'm gonna place you down on a table and cut you open to find out what exactly are you. And not to mention those kids that you came for. I'm gonna cut each and every one of them open. Well, firstly, I'll go after the girl. If I remember correctly, she's your family, is she not? You or Uzumaki related to Kushina. She will be the first one that I remove the Kyuubi from. Once I'm done with her, I'll throw her corpses to the dogs to make them feast upon her flesh. So will I do with the others as well. As Naruto glanced up towards him, Orochimaru saw a deep-seated hatred in his eyes. Pure, agonizing hate. As Naruto started to speak, there's a lot of things in this world that I can forgive, and a lot of things I can forget. You, threatening to use children for your sick, twisted means. I still haven't forgotten what you did to Uncle, since I removed that mark off of her. But you threatening to use children, especially my little sister, is something I can't ever forgive. Upon saying that, the place started to shake. Orochimaru glanced around. He brought his sword down to knock Naruto out, but wooden vines came from the earth, and it almost pierced him. He had to jump back. As Naruto slowly got to his feet, he felt different. He didn't know what exactly it was. He was pretty sure that he was out of power to fight back, but yet here he was on his feet. Why? Where did his power came from? So, it is true. Naruto was confused as he heard that voice. The next second, everything went so bright, he had to squint his eyes. The voice was all around him. Ascending towards this farm so early should be impossible. But then again, you are not exactly normal yourself, being crafted from the very thing that we Osutskis use to feed ourselves, to gain power, give you an unlimited reservoir of that same power. It's only a matter of time before you truly awaken it. This is just a small taste. You too will ascend beyond the normal fabrication of reality. Who are you, said Naruto? My name is not important right now. When you finally reach this level, that is when we will talk once again. For now, this is a power that you can look forward to. As the world returned back to normal, Naruto looked toward his hand that was slowly becoming translucent. What the hell was going on? Despite that he felt so much more powerful. He moved as the ground cracked underneath him, Orochimaru blinked in confusion as he felt a presence behind him. No, that was not possible, he thought to himself. No one can be that fast. Fear creeping into his soul. Orochimaru turned as Naruto was looking directly into his eyes. It was then that Orochimaru saw all of Naruto's eyes. The Tenseigan in his forehead, the Reni Sharingan in both of his eye sockets. As Naruto blinked, Orochimaru felt his limbs cracking. The snake Sanin cried out in agonizing pain as Naruto's body started to glow unnaturally. Orochimaru dropped to his knees. The bones in his legs shattered. He opened his mouth and screamed as a massive Hydra snake came out. 8-headed snake in the center. You dare force me to go this far. You've become too much of a threat. Now, I'll simply annihilate you, he said. All of the snakes opened their mouth. Orochimaru on the other hand raised out his both hands as he started to create a spear of dense, undiluted chakra. The snakes on the other hand, each of them possessed an element, one of them possessing two. As they start to gather those elements, let's see you survive this. Let me show you the true power of Orochimaru, of the Sanin, he said. He launched the attack. The attack was cataclysmic, as the place was swallowed in a bright light. But to Orochimaru's surprise, instead of going off and reducing everything to dust, the attack was compressed. It was compressed and compressed and compressed into a tiny ball in the center of Naruto's palm. Naruto looked at the strange ball before he swallowed it. His body then expanded, steam coming from his ears, his eyes, as the pressure of the technique seemed to pour out of him, yet he controlled it. The veins in his forehead started to pop even more than before. The translucent color of his body started to fade even more. His eyes becoming bright, almost gray, like they were going blind. But yet Naruto could see perfectly fine. Orochimaru snarled in anger, confused what this abomination was. Naruto raised his hand. "Be gone," he said as he slashed. An arc of energy came from him slashing his hand. It seems like space and time itself was cut. The snake cried out in agonizing pain as his body was severed in half. Naruto walked. With a simple step, the area around him started to die. The ground was being absorbed. All life forms were just dying out. Once he approached the snake, the thing was dying. The life was being sucked directly out of it. Orochimaru slit out of the thing's mouth as he was running, his bottom half a snake. That is when he felt someone step on it. He turned as he looked into Naruto's eyes. Thrusting his hand out, Naruto's translucent hand gripped his chest. Orochimaru looked down. "What are you doing?" he said. "I told you, what you did cannot be forgiven." And thus, Naruto ripped out something out of him. There was a cord connecting Orochimaru to the blue substance. What is that?" "This is your soul. Usually, you will go to the afterlife, the impure world, or the pure world. But you don't deserve anything like that. That is why, as Naruto started to squeeze, Orochimaru felt his body tingling as he felt like his soul was being shredded, which it was. I'll remove you completely. No coming back. Nothing at all. There will be nothing after this. Just utter darkness. Orochimaru dropped. Please, don't do this, he said. You can't do this to me. He started to beg as he could feel it. The more Naruto squeezed, the more he felt his vision fading into nothingness. I'll give you anything you want. I'll bring back the children. I already have them, said Naruto. I'll do as you please. Place me in prison. Please don't do this, he begged. Orochimaru was many things, but he always wanted to achieve his dream to become truly, utterly immortal. But the feeling that he felt right now, the utter fear, was just too much. He pleaded, something that he's never done before. He begged. No, said Naruto as he crushed it. The connection was cut as Orochimaru screamed. His eyes went dull in seconds as his body dropped. As Naruto looked at his translucent arms, which slowly started to return back to normal, the cloak around him fading as he dropped face first, panting exhaustedly. Naruto forcefully pushed himself back to his feet. His clothes from earlier had dispelled. The children were unprotected as he made his way. Half of the roof was still up. As he arrived to see all of them still, they were still in a sleep-induced coma by the strange machines. As he did not know if he removed it like that, it would be safe. He had to bring them back to the village. Gathering up what remainder of his chakra he had left, he slammed his hand on the ground. It cracked open as a massive golem came out. Said golem moved over as it picked up the massive underboard, lifting the entire section up. As Naruto sat on the thing's shoulder, more like lean, as the thing trekked back to Konoha. Time skip. Kushina was at the gates. She refused to move. They had no idea where Naruto had gone because he could fly. As the people were upset that Jiraiya let him get away like that, as they believed he had no intention of coming back, and not to mention tension was high right now with all the kids that were missing. As Kushina leaned her head down, it popped up in her head every now and then that he would actually leave and just don't come back, but she didn't believe that. She still loved him like her son. He was her baby boy, and nothing would change that. But she prayed that he was alright. He was determined to find Orochimaru, and she knew that he was awfully weak. It was then that the ground started to tremble. Thinking that this was an attack, countless ninjas, Anbus, started to move in. It was then that 3 Anbus arrived. What's going on, said Kushina, as they were about to report to the Hokage. Something is coming, he said. What is it? A wooden golem of sorts. A wooden golem? Wait. It has its children. The Anbu said. It does? As the Anbu moved to inform the Hokage of this, who was currently in a meeting with the other clan heads regarding the subject, it didn't take too long for all of them to gather. Hearing that the parents that lost their kids all came out. Hayashi, all of them were out there. Mikoto was out there as well, Sasuke by her side. Itachi standing there as well. They were all there to witness this. As Naruto was still leaning on the thing, he was using a steady rate of chakra to keep the golem going, but it had knocked him clean out. As Naruto was leaning on it, that power he felt earlier, he could no longer access it, as he had no idea what it was. But he had drifted off, his body too weak to keep up. He has been through so much in such a short period of time. It was a surprise that he was still going. As Naruto was right asleep, the golem came to a stop, before it cracked open the ground and slowly start to just materialize into the ground, lowering itself. It brought the platform down with the children on it, causing Naruto to fall, but Kushina caught him with her chain. She checked his pulse. He was just unconscious. Hayashi rushed over along with Hitomi. Hinata, as he rushed towards the machines. What are these? A few of the medics came over. It's an induced sleep, they said. Let's get them to the hospital. The members started instantly carry away the kids, as Kushna rushed over towards Mito, who was fast asleep. She pulled her baby in her arms, as she cried. She was alright. When she saw that she was taken, she never thought that she would see her again. A part of her never thought that she would see her baby again, knowing the kind of man Orochimaru was. But Naruto brought them back. He brought them all back, as everyone turned towards him as Itachi looked towards one of his closest friends. As Uncle stood there as well. He was unconscious. He was about 19 years old right now. He had gotten a lot more handsome than she thought. She had barely gotten a good look at him before, but now, she had to say, a lot has changed. Time skip. Kaguya was being carried. Underneath her was a lot of Zetsus. These Zetsus were not exactly normal. One of them had 3 heads, 4 arms. She had created them some time ago to prepare herself for the inevitable war that would come when the rest of the Otsutsuki came. As she was currently sitting down on a throne, more like a carriage, as the Zetsus carried her, she sat down, like the queen that she was. That is when she snapped her finger, as they stopped. Kaguya got to her feet. No, it can't be. Not this soon, she cursed herself. Glancing up towards the heavens, she could feel them. They were a far distance off, but she could feel it. They were coming for her. There was no doubt of that. She turned towards the Zetsus, as she pointed them towards a different direction. She didn't think that she was going to meet up with her darling so soon, as it brought a smile to her face, even though, well, if they feel their demise would be here, but she didn't think that feeling was a possibility, with him at her side, as the Zetsus brought her to Konoha. Meanwhile, that was going on. The real Black Zetsu was currently scouting for the tail pieces. His mother told him to find each of every one of them. She had changed the plan. At first, she was content on waiting, but she wouldn't wait anymore. So it was up to him to find each and every one of them. He had given her the location of the 2 tails already. That was out of the mission. The other ones were rather secured. The 3 tails was in his village. He was a Kage after all. The 1 tails was taken by Orochimaru of all people. Now that was frustrating. The 4 tails was out somewhere in the regions of the Hidden Stone. He did not live directly in the village. So did the 5 tails. The 6 tails was at Kiri. The 7 tails was at Taki. The 8 tails was at Kumo. And the 9 tails belonging to that child. As Zetsu was currently searching for the 4 and 5 tails, thinking that finding them first would be quicker, unknowing that his mother was changing up things, because they were coming. The people that she feared, they were coming for her, but not just her when they found out what exactly Naruto was. Meanwhile, that was going on, as Naruto once again found himself in a feel of emptiness. He didn't have a physical body. That was confusing. Yet he could feel himself. More than that though, he could feel himself on a spiritual level. He could feel the world around him. He could feel the universe around him. He felt lifted. He felt above it all. He felt wonderful. He felt like he was just pure natural power. He was spread through the universe like a god. Yes, a god. As he was currently in a sense of bliss. This feeling. Was it Naruto's eyes slowly opened, coming out of his dream? Or was it a premonition, he thought to himself? Unsure. The first thing he noticed was the white ceiling. He was once again in the hospital. To be surprised, this time his arms were not shackled down to the bed, nor did he felt any seal on him. As he wondered what was going on, the last thing he remembered was the golem, and then he blacked out. He was surprised that he had went through all of that. He had fought so much, he had used up so much power. He knew what his body can do, but that was just ridiculous. But even after that rest, he still did not feel 100%. What was wrong with him? It was taking so much longer to get his power back to maximum. Maybe it was because he was never this weakened before. He never felt this tired before, ever. and never this exhausted. He was not even focusing as he then realized when his hand hit something. Red head on his bed. He caused the head to stir. Upon head stirring, Naruto looked up, as he finally noticed what it was. She also looked up as well, as she looked him directly in the eyes. She was crying. The moment her eyes made contact with him, she started crying. Wasting no time, she leaped herself and hugged him tightly. As she held on to him, she held on to him with every fiber of her being, as she cried. As Naruto stood there, his hands slowly moving before they wrapped around Mito as he hugged her back. As Mito cried on his chest. They was like that for a very long while until she finally broke apart. As she wiped her tears, but they just kept on flowing. "You're finally back," she said, tears in her eyes. "You're finally back," as she was crying even more. Those tears soon turned into a frown. "You're not leaving ever again," she said to him. "Never again are you leaving. You're not leaving me and Mom ever again. Do you understand that?" she said. "I won't allow it. You're staying here with us. It doesn't matter the past. We'll work through it. We'll find a way. Even if you're going, we're going with you. Do you understand that?" "Do you?" she said, raising her voice as she was getting angry. She didn't mean to snap like that, but she just didn't want to lose him. Naruto reached up as he placed a hand on her cheek, as she held on to it and cried. "I missed you so much," she said, holding on to her brother for dear life. She thought that she would never ever see him again, as the both of them remained there in the quiet. Until she finally spoke. "You helped all those kids. You brought them all back, including myself, Hinata, and everyone else. You saved them. They are heroes," she said. "I know there's a lot of conflict with the past, but regardless, you're a hero. I know it's gonna be hard, but we're gonna fix it." "Mito, I don't understand." "Is that what you were gonna say?" she asked him, as Naruto looked down with a sigh. "It doesn't matter. Then let me understand, if I don't." "Let me," she said, as Naruto looked her in the eyes. "I can't stay in this village. I just can't." "Why not?" she asked. "Why can't you? Why do you have to leave? Why does everyone else get to be alright but you have to leave us?" "I'm not exactly normal." "That doesn't matter," she said. "If I stay, I would hurt you." "No, you won't. You don't understand," said Naruto, raising his voice a bit. "I don't want to hurt you or Mom. I want to keep the both of you safe. But if I stay, that is exactly what I will do. And I refuse to let myself control me to be the one to hurt you guys." "Then we can do something about it. Find a way." "It's not that easy," said Naruto. "It's bred into my DNA. It's a part of me. It's what I am." "What?" she asked. "A monster. A thing that was said to feed, to swallow all life form and chakra from this earth. And the more chakra around me, the more I want to take it all away. The more I want to suck everyone's chakra around me dry. And in this weakened state, I'm afraid that it will be too intense. I'm surprised I'm able to still be on equal, calming terms and speak to you. But with me being so weak, the craving is even more stronger. It will be soon." As Mito looked down, her mind struggling to find a way to help him. "I know it's gonna be hard, but I can't stay here. I don't know if I can." "Those two girls," said Mito. "They were with you, were they not?" "Two girls?" "Yeah, the redhead and the other one. Karin and Guren, if I'm not mistaken. They said that you were like family to them." "How did you stay around them? They had chakra." As Naruto reached towards his necklace. "Nature energy fight back the effects. Then use the nature energy," she said. "It's not like that. When I was with those girls, we were not around a civilization with pure chakra, but now we are. Too much of you guys around here. There's just too much. I won't. Then do something else. Damn it, I won't lose you, she said. As Naruto looked down and sighed, seeing her on the verge of tears. Come on, he said. You know I hate it when you cry. Then don't make me cry, then don't leave. As Naruto released a breath. He didn't want to hurt her. He didn't want to hurt anyone. But he's already sealed his fate, has he not? He then paused as he glanced up toward the heavens. What's wrong? This sensation. What do you mean, she said. I don't know. As Naruto felt something off. It felt like someone was coming for him. He could feel the power. It wasn't close, but he could feel it. Were these the others? He thought to himself. As Naruto tried to get up, but Mito grabbed his hand. You're too exhausted. It's fine, I can stand, said Naruto. Where's everyone else? They're talking about, well, most likely you in the council room right now. They're wondering why would you save everyone after what you did all those years ago? Are you gonna tell them? I can't, said Naruto. Why can't you? I know you're not an evil person. I know you did not do it to harm anyone. So why can't you? Please, just tell me what happened. If the truth was to come out, a lot of people would be scorned for something that was not their doing. What are you talking about, she said. I just can't right now, said Naruto as he got to his feet. Then that's it. You're just gonna walk away again and leave me, she said. As Naruto looked down. I don't want to, then don't. He sat back on the edge of the bed. As he looked at her. Do you know what this is doing to me and Mom? To know that you're out there all alone. Even if you had those girls, you're not with your family. And you just left. Never showing your face. 6 years. 6 years and a couple months it has been. And I've not seen you once. I've missed you. I miss my big brother so much. Just don't leave me alone once again. I beg you, she said. As Naruto lowered his head. A lot of conflicting emotions. As he didn't want to go, he didn't want to leave her. Not to mention his new sensation that he was feeling. He didn't know what it was. But it felt off. It was not right. Meanwhile, out in the forest, several envoys appeared as they stopped the white creatures that were currently marching towards the village. Who are you? The leader of the team asked as he stepped forward. He was wearing a beer mask. As the woman peeped off her throne. Bring me to your village, she said. There's someone there I need to speak to. I'm afraid I can't do that without knowing who you are. And what are these things? The envoy said, stepping closer. One of his Zetsus looked towards him with a murderous intent. No, she said. Don't harm him. I do not pose a threat to your village. But if you don't bring me there, I'm not the only one that is gonna die. All of us are. At the moment, I'm not strong enough to fight them off by myself. That is why you have to bring me to him. He's the only way. With him by my side, we can destroy them. And for the sake of showing you that I mean no harm, I will not attack your people, even though I could end their existence right here and now. The envoy phoned her tone, quite threatening. The way she said it, she was not trying to boast her ego or anything. It was like she was stating a fact. Look, if you don't bring me there, we're all gonna die. And besides, I don't need your help getting there. I just figured that I would not come in on a high note to show you I meant no harm. So it's either you take me there or your ninja's here life will be lost. As Yonvo weighed his options, he gave a code to one of the other ones as he went back to the village. Fine. Come with me, he said. Why thank you, she said as she sat back on her throne as Zetsu's march. As the members watched her. Meanwhile, at the council room, the place was thick with tension. People wanted to know what was the reason why he had killed the Uchihas. Why he had killed the elders, and yet he came back and saved their children. Most of this was on Itachi. People want to know what he thought about this. Why wasn't he calling for Naruto's death after what he did? He killed his own father. Itachi was strangely calm. That got Kushina suspicious that he knows something that she did not. She also noticed Hiruzen with a single glance. It was subtle, but she noticed it. They knew something. They knew something they were not telling her. It was then an envoy came inside. "Excuse me, Lord Hokage." As Hiruzen turned, "What is it now?" he asks. There's a woman, claiming that she needs to enter the village, with some strange creatures, bringing her here on some kind of throne, claiming that if she does not get here, we'll all be in danger. Jiraiya turned towards the envoy. "Which woman is this?" he asks. "I'm afraid I've never seen anything like her before." "We'll pause the meeting for now," said Hiruzen, as he was curious about this. Who was this person and what is going on now? So with that, all of them made their way. As Kushina made her way back towards the hospital to check up on Naruto there, as she knew that he would not leave with Mito there. He would not dare to do that again, and not to mention, he was not strong enough to flee, and the other two girls were here as well. When she got to the hospital, she saw Naruto sitting on the bed. Where are the others? Kushina asked as she walked over. Well, Mito was rather hungry. Didn't she eat? Naruto asks. Well, you know her. She was just waiting for you to wake up. She and the others went to get something to eat. Kushina sat down. Good. I want to talk to you in private about this. She grabbed his shoulders, forced him to look at her. Naruto-kun, tell me straight. Did the Hokage tell you to do what you did? What? Why would you say that? I know that Itachi is your friend, but you killed his father. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, but he's acting so civil. I know that Itachi is a calm person, but I believe he's hiding something along with the Hokage. Tell me now. Are they the ones that set you up to do this? No, said Naruto. But something is going on. As Naruto gave her a look, I knew it. You sacrificed yourself for the village, didn't you? To protect something. To protect someone. Was it me and Mito? She asks. As Naruto glanced down. It's not that simple. Then tell me what it is. Naruto paused. As he glanced towards the wall. What is this? No. She's here. Who's here? As Naruto got out of bed, did someone come requesting to enter the village? Naruto asks. Yes, a lady. Saying that she has some vital. Damn it, said Naruto. What is she pulling? What's going on? She just wants to talk. She's walking right through the front gate. Do you know this person? As Naruto clenched his fists. Yes, and she's not a good person. Look, I know that I have a lot to explain right now, but I need you to stay close to me. Am I in danger? She asks. Knowing her, she will try to do something stupid, but I will not allow her to hurt you or anyone else. You're still weak, she said. I know that you're stronger than most, but the doctor said that your body has went through a lot. You've pushed yourself even at your lowest. But your chakra is irregular and a lot more vast than anyone else, so they can't fully comprehend how much you need to refill before you're back to normal. As Naruto cursed at that, as he looked down towards his hands, it will have to do. I don't know how stronger she is right now, or if I can even beat her, but I will not allow her to harm any of you. As Naruto then felt it move, he turned his gaze towards the window, as a shadow hovered there. The window seemed to creak as it was opened, spreading wide as a breeze rushed in, forcing Kushina to cover her eyes. Soft feet landed on the inside. As the woman scanned over the room, they were talking too much, so I figured I would just come here right for you. As Kaguya glanced around, she glanced towards Kushina, who looked at the woman. Who are you? Kushina said. Kaguya dismissed her with a gaze. She then smiled, as her cheeks became red. I didn't know. I would be seeing you so soon. As she stepped forward. My love, she said. What? Said Kushina. As Kaguya stepped forward. I've been waiting for this moment ever since. I felt that amazing power of yours. And I can no longer deny myself. I already claim you as my own. And you will stand as my side as my husband, my lover. We are perfectly meant for each other. Don't you see, she said. As you can see, I have posed no threat to your people, no harm. Thus, there is no reason for you to be upset. As the both of them were incredibly close, as she just sauntered over towards them. I know you must be angry after all the past events that led you up to this moment, with me taunting you to get you to release me, but it had to be done, honey, she said, as she placed a hand on his cheek. It was the only way for me to see you, for me to actually touch you, as she grazed her hand over his cheek, for me to actually taste you. Kushina's eyes went wide as this woman leaned forward and kissed her son. As Kaguya devoured Naruto's lips hungrily, finally getting what she wants, almost forgetting that their doom was coming, in form of the two Osutskis that wanted her dead. And when they found out what Naruto was, it would be bad. But guys, to be in subscribe right here. If you want things important to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification as they post. Stay by, see you guys soon. Peace.